But this is why I say that we have to protect our little girls by all means, okay?
I just stitched this video because I wanted you guys to be able to go back and watch the entire video. But this is what I was talking about yesterday, right? I understand that when I'm angry and when I'm feeling it and when I see the things that I see, my delivery is maybe not, you know, the best delivery, but I get passionate. But I will never, I don't care. I came on here yesterday and I said that I will do more content that is kind. And I think that this type of content is still kind. So I'm going to work on my delivery, but maybe I just won't be so harsh about it, right? This man making the video about this little girl and her uncle is a kind person. This is a kind act because he's spreading the word out there that we need to protect our little girls, right? When I talk about men and I say that men need to be studied, right? In this society, women have been studied. And the reason that women have been studied and women have been corrected and indoctrinated so harshly is because the desire for control by men so that we are more susceptible to abusers like this. And unfortunately, there's a lot of abuse going on in our community. And I don't mean just the black community, I mean in the world towards women. And this is not new. I'm not saying anything new, right? This guy making this video would be an example of what I'm talking about when I say that there are men out here who are good and do good deeds because of the fact that they were influenced by women, right? And I said, I know some people are going to get technical and say, well, what if somebody wasn't raised by a specific woman? I don't care if you see a man who's a single father, you don't attribute his, you know, ability to do that to just his own strength. I can almost guarantee you there's a community of women that he goes to be able to do the things that he's doing as a single father. Ironically, we see, and sometimes I hate to say things like this because I don't know, people take things wrong, but in the LGBTQIA community, and I'm assuming that this man is in the community because of his mannerisms and the way he talks, right? I don't know. I hope that's not offensive to say, but I'm trying to make a point, right? So I'm assuming that he's in the community, and we can see with our eyes that a lot of these men can befriend women because they have that feminine influence. They have the ability to, you know, have empathy, and they don't mind being around women. They don't, you know what I mean? Because they're kind of in their feminine energy. So when I speak about femininity being king, essentially, and I'm not saying, like, the only reason that I have to say that is because men are trying to dominate. Men are literally telling you that you're second class. Men are literally telling you that you should follow them. Men are telling you that you came from their rib when we can see with our eyes that we get on our backs or squat or however women give birth and push them out. But we are supposed to follow them, and their behavior shows behavior like the behavior talked about in this video from this girl's uncle. When women try to put a spotlight on these things, we are drowned out because we're not supposed to be smart enough to see who's doing the damage. It only seems like a war because, like, I heard a term called reactive abuse, and that's when you have been abused and you respond by being abusive, right? When you see women online talking about men lead me where and all, that's reactive. That is reactive. And like I said in the other video, a lot of women do not know how to start from what they see. They start from the point at which something was nurtured. The conversation, the debating between women and men, especially in the black community, was initially started by men. I can tell you guys a story. When I had my YouTube channel, I still have it. And if you guys don't follow me over there, go follow me on Kiana Revision, because we don't know if the app is still going to be, accessible to us. So when I had a channel on, well, my channel, YouTube at Kiana Revision, there was a point where I was doing a show called The Black Content Corner, and I was interviewing people. So it brought a lot of traffic to my page of people who were, just networking. Some of the people weren't trying to get on the show. They were just, it was around COVID time. So we were in a mind state of like boosting each other, sub for sub, supporting each other. So there was this one woman who came to my channel and she was like, come, we're going live tonight. We're having basically a discussion. This is the beginning of this debating online between men and women. I know sometimes we forget how we got to where we got. I don't forget things like this because they're like, I take notes of them. So I remember there wasn't a lot of podcasts. This is before Kevin Samuels. This is before all of that. And I remember I went over to the channel and it was like a panel of like maybe 3 women and the rest were men. It was a lot of them. And on this panel, they were just degrading women. They were talking to these women crazy. And this is before we had people like Cynthia G and the Love Jones and, everybody we listened to. This is before we had talking points from them. They kept saying, what do women bring to the table? And, what about this? And the women were stumped. Anytime they were backed into a corner, they were stumped. And I also believe they were stumped because we naturally don't have a desire to go to war with these men. We're trying to give politically correct answers when their intention is to make you look bad. So this is before all of this stuff happened. So these women were kind of like, what's going on? And I went up there, okay? I get convicted sometimes, and I requested, and I got up there, and they were all like so happy to see me. And when I got up there, I challenged those men. So much, they were so intimidated by the things that I was saying that a lot of them kept turning off their cameras. They kept storming off. They were changing the subjects, like the gaslighting. They were trying to not allow me to wake these women up. And by the end of the show, like the women weren't trying to listen. They kept defending them. They kept saying all this stuff. By the end of the show, there were women crying on the panel. And I believe that that was them feeling frustrated because they knew what was happening. They were being used to make the men look better. Like they knew what was happening. They were crying and apologizing to the men. It was mayhem. It was just pure mayhem. So after the live ended, I forgot what I used to use it to go live, but once you cut the live, the audience can't see you anymore, but you're backstage with the people who were on the panel, and I just didn't click off yet. So I was back there. Come to find out, these men start thanking the women for doing that for them. Like, yeah, we just wanted to make an entertaining show. We just wanted to like, boost the ratings. So that's what we had to do. And the women are like, yeah, we with it. We with it. Did they know what they were starting? I'm not saying that one podcast started this debate in the Black community, men versus women, but the men were all on the same agenda at the same time because there's something in them that they won't give women the respect that we deserve. And it's because of it's the society. It's what it's built off of. They've been told out the womb that they're the kings, they're the leaders, they're the desire, they're the prize, they're the this, they're the that. So they can't fathom giving up that position to women. And also, they benefit from our subjugation. They benefit from us being slutted out and confused and lost and taking care of them and just being essentially slaves in this society. I don't want to make this a long video, and I don't want to keep just talking, but I need women to understand that when you hear women talking like this, it is reactive. I'm not even being disrespectful right now. I'm telling women something that they need to hear. I'm not being abusive. I really don't think I'm saying something that you don't already know, but it's the feelings in you of, I don't want this to happen, which further proves my point that women should be more in power and lead, because we have a more, who said it? We're more egalitarian. We think about community versus, dominance for self. The top comment in this comment section under this video is, we need to protect our sons too. And it is posted by a woman. One, that proves what I'm saying. We're egalitarian because we are welcoming the protection also of the boys, even though he's saying protect the girls. And lastly, it proves that we are more male identified than women identified.